Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Boom.
Boom, baby.
Boom. You want to... hello, Ryan.
Hi, Becca.
Hi. You want to hear the funniest shirt that I saw this weekend at this brunch situation that I was at?
Sure. I kind of want to hear about this brunch situation. What do you mean by that?
First of all, okay, I should set it. I should set the stage. So I went to this show. It wasn't really a show. It was a 1 year anniversary for this coffee shop bar type thing. It was called Parlor House. And it was fancy as shit. Like, I walked inside, just the chairs, like, at the tables are, like, worth $500. Like, whoa.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and, like, everything's, like, bronze and, like, dark woods and dark green. And so immediately I was like, oh, this is not my crowd. And
oh my God.
And I was literally not cool enough to be there. Like, absolutely not cool enough. It was like a bunch of 30-year-olds that, like, still wear the same. They wear, like the tank tops that match the shorts, you know? Like...
Males wearing tank tops?
Yeah, males wearing, like, tank tops that match shorts. And, like, women that, like, are all done up and, like, have, like, nice clothes on and shit like that. Oof.
I would never have the confidence as a man to wear a tank top.
What? You have nice shoulders. You would look good in a tank top.
You gotta have some confidence to wear a tank top.
You know what? You should set
I would
this
have
as a
straight
goal.
up farmer's tan.
No,
tank top.
set this as a goal for this year. You're gonna wear a tank
way.
top. One day. Just one day. I'll bring you one.
I won't even go jogging in the neighborhood in a tank top.
I know, but Ryan...
I'm not JTP here. I mean... I can't wear a tank top.
Sorry. I wasn't expecting that. I apologize. I was caught off guard.
I mean, I saw some at Kohl's the other day when I was in there in the clearance section. I was like, I can't pull this off. No.
Yes, you totally
it's
can.
It's like $4. I'm not
You're
kidding.
a good-looking dude. You don't have a ton of muscles, which is nice, too. And, like, I mean, because if you had too many muscles, then you just look like a bro. But, like, you wouldn't look like a bro. You'd look like a little skater punk.
It's like...
Well, maybe if you wore a tank top, you wouldn't have a farmer's tan. Anyway, I'm at this brunch thing. It wasn't really a brunch, but there was alcohol, and I didn't see any food. There was, like, a taco truck.
Probably some bottomless mimosas there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, lots of fancy shit. And there was this one dude. Oh, fuck me. I just forgot the shirt's name.
It had a saying on the shirt?
It had a saying on the shirt. Something for brunch. Damn it. Anyway, this guy
kills your story. You build up the anticipation.
I know, it totally kills the story.
All right.
So anyway, he had this shirt. I'm searching in my text to find it because I had to say what it was. And he was playing with one of those, you know, those handheld, like, games that have, like, the wooden handle and then the string and then the ball, and you, like, catch the string on the, like, handle and all the things. So he had that, and he was just, like, playing that in the middle of this crowd by himself, and I was
That's
like,
fucking
wow,
hilarious.
The fucking confidence of this dude. Like, and...
Could you imagine going to, like, a social gathering and just having... That's like a paddleboard with a ball on it. You're just literally, like...
Yeah.
Or you just
it
bring,
said
like,
baby
a
got
Rubik's
brunch.
Cube with you, and you're just Rubik's Cubing the shit out of that in the social situation.
Exactly. It would be exactly like that. Just like a Rubik's Cube, like, in the middle of a crowd. But, like, showing off. Like that. And did you hear that his shirt said baby got brunch? Baby got brunch. And it was pink. Now, I was just, like, so impressed by this guy. Like, the amount of confidence that he had was just unbelievable. I
Oh my gosh.
Also, I saw a baby with a camo hat that was on backwards. Like, how? How does that even stay on? Nobody knows. Like maybe he just couldn't reach the bill to like pull it off. I don't know. But like so many well-dressed children. So many dogs in strollers.
Did you sell anything?
I sold about $300.
Okay.
Which, since it's 100% not my crowd, that was not too bad. And
I can't believe your confidence to go into these shows that you literally barely know the name of where you're going. And that's the bare minimum that you know. And you're like, I don't know the hours. I don't know what I got. I don't know if I get a table. I don't know if I get 8x8. I don't know anything.
Well, you know what? I don't need very much money. So, like, anything would be fine. And also, there was a booth next to me. The artist's name was Cream and Concrete. And it was so wonderful to like meet them and talk to them. And they do like the concrete pours, you know, and they've been doing it for probably like 4 years, they said. And it was really fun to like
molds for planters and stuff like that?
Yeah. Like planters, but mostly like plates and platters. And they do some jewelry and these cool like fire rock thingies. They're like ceramic, or not ceramic, they're like cement. And they have like probably a cup holder size hole in them, and you put oil in it, and then you light it on fire, and it's just like you can put it in the center of your patio. And it's just like a mini little fire that you can roast little marshmallows on. I'm sure that people do that. I'm sure that it's not for that, but I'm sure people do it. And it was worth the money, and it was $0 to participate.
Okay.
$0.
So it was worth the time, is basically what you're saying.
It was totally worth the time. And it was fun. Yeah.
Is that the one that you posted the photo with your little cardboard signs?
Yeah. Which I thought was funny because these people spent like $120 on booze. And they're like, whoa, $100 for this cup. I'm like, I don't plan on selling these cups, but I'm giving
Imagine
you
how cool you'd be walking around with a mini cup.
Obviously.
With your bottomless mimosa in it.
Yeah, and also, like, feel how soft it is. I'm giving you an experience, okay? For free. Yeah.
That's great.
So that happened. What else happened this week?
What sparked this business card conversation you were asking me before?
I was asking about, I don't know where my stickers are. I know they're somewhere. I just have to find them. But I don't know how many I have left. Anyway, regardless, I've been like, so I'm doing earrings, right? New stuff. And I have all of these earring cards that I bought many, many moons ago. And, they are too long for the earring display that I purchased. So I had to cut all of them down to like an inch. And so I have little tiny 1 inch by 2 inch little cards. And I was thinking it might be nice just to like use my little stamp that says 5 Lines Pottery and just like stamp them and like put them with the earrings or whatever I have. And I mean, I don't know if it's necessary to include a social media anymore, because it's like, hello, it's just 5 Lines Pottery. Like, look it up on the fucking internet. Or am I?
You already have a stamp?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay, that'll fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it is straight up like easy enough that people can just search it. I mean, if it just says 5 Lines Pottery, 5 Lines Pottery. Oh, it replaced the .com. I was gonna see what came up if I just searched it.
Wow.
5linespottery.com, first search. Instagram, second search. Facebook, third. TikTok, fourth.
Yeah, see, I mean, like...
Pinterest, fifth.
I have a Pinterest?
Yeah.
Oh. You learn something new every day.
And then our podcast is like fifth, sixth on here. Apparently 5 Lines Pottery Monroe is on MapQuest.
Of course it is.
It's still a location on MapQuest.
Well, I like to keep a mystery alive. That's something that I enjoy doing.
That's great.
How was your week? Since we kind of already skipped.
It's been busy. I had my show this weekend that I freaking killed at.
Yeah, you did.
It was my best show of the year. It just beat out Berea barely. Sold a little over $5,100.
Fuck yeah.
For a 2-day show. Yeah, I think I sold like 29 oil bottles.
I saw that in your, because I usually click through your stories.
Oh, you do? I'm surprised.
Not all of them. I can't read.
Oh, you mean skip? You skip through?
Yeah,
That's what you
kind of
mean.
look
Okay.
at them quickly, and
yeah.
I saw that you had that. Like, I saw your stats on that. I was like, shit, you sold as many oil bottles as you did.
Almost spoon rest.
Yeah.
Actually, regular oil bottles 29, 12 carved ones.
That is fucking insane.
12 carved ones. Those are $55 a piece.
That's insane.
So that's 41 oil bottles, 49 spoon rests.
That's crazy. Like, wow. Like, first of all, I can't believe you had 41 oil bottles there.
I was worried I didn't have enough. Like, if I would have brought some more, and I brought almost as many carved ones as I thought I was going to, like, I never thought I was going to sell that many carved ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should have brought that orange one, and I should have brought that yellow. Like, I was going to bring some of the ones I had for pre-order.
Yeah.
Like, the ones I was saving, and I didn't bring them. I brought, like, one yellow one. And, yeah. Oil bottles sold a little over $2,000 in oil bottles.
That is crazy. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, it was nuts. So, I didn't sell that many mugs, which was fine. 10 mugs.
Hey, whatever works.
Hey,
You
I
don't
don't
have to put fucking
mind the
handles
oil
on oil
bottles,
bottles.
surpassing. Yeah, the oil bottles cost the same amount as an average mug.
Yeah.
$34 oil bottle, $34 mug is like a 12-ounce mug.
Yeah, and at this point, you're so good at throwing them. I doubt it's much different.
It's actually easier to throw that than to put a handle on a mug.
Exactly. Yeah. How did the pre-sale go?
I sold 3 items.
Okay.
But I got a couple of leads. I got one other lead from somebody that's going to get some other pieces, and then they were going to get 2 other oil bottles that are carved.
Yeah.
So probably one more.
I don't know. I feel like we're just not in the pre-sale business. Like, me and you are just not pre-sale people.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I don't have enough scarcity. I feel like you have to have so little stock that people have the urgency. Like with me, I feel like there's no urgency.
Right. I know. That's why I put everything on my website for as made to order. And it's honestly been going quite well.
Yeah. I was wondering, I keep seeing you post about it. I don't know if I'm like, is Becca like not getting much so she's posting more about it, or is she like getting some traction so she wants to post more about it?
I'm getting some traction. So like the last time I posted like that the shitty cups, and I got like 3 orders like directly after that. Which for me, I don't need.
And you usually get multiples anyways when you
right. For
order,
me,
right?
I don't need those. I don't need a ton of. I don't need a ton of orders to like make my week. Like. So let's see. Just yesterday, I got 3 orders and it was $70, $80, and $40. And then the day before that, I got a $60 one and an $85 one. So I feel like, that's a lot more than I normally would get, even if I did like a pre-sale on the normal shit, So, and they're ordering like multiples. If I can figure out an easy way to do pinch pots on there, I will.
Yeah.
I've got straight-sided pinch pots. I think I might just do straight and wavy. Yeah. So, but yeah, I feel like the made to order is just very similar to your shot glasses on Etsy, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Etsy sales have slowed a little bit the last week or so, but and I didn't sell as many of the collab pieces out of the gate as I thought I would.
Yeah.
But I took about 8 pieces with me this weekend, and I sold all 3 of those milk jugs.
Oh, nice.
So, and most of those were easy sales. Like, some people flipped them up and looked at the price and stuff and was like, I would feel bad breaking this, but other people, like the 3 people that ended up buying them, were like drawn to it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, I gotta have this.
Nice.
Especially when I was like, I sold 2 yesterday, like there's 1 left, and he was like, well, I'm not gonna walk around, like I'm gonna get it right now because like scarcity.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like at a show it's easier to sell that because immediately when they pick it up, I feel like they're gonna be scared off of the price if I don't say anything else with it.
Yeah.
So as soon as they pick it up, I'm like, oh yeah, those are some collaboration pieces we just got done. Those are the only pieces that are slip cast. There's a friend in Indiana that slip cast these in a plaster mold, and then I picked up like the tumbler and showed them the 2 colors, and I'm like, they have to pour in 1 color of slip first, let it sit in there for a few minutes, pour it out, pour the other color, and then I carved them. And that's basically what I keep it at. So it's like a quick like 20-30 second. And I'm like, yeah, they have the molds for the moonshine jugs and for the milk jugs.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was what I think I okay. What I
Reset.
Okay, I was surprised at the shows that I've been doing how well mixing bowls have been selling. I sold 5 mixing bowls at that one show that I did, and then I sold 2 at the bougie show.
Yeah.
The bougie brunch. And so like I made like 7 more mixing bowls today. Yeah. Which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so desperate for table space that the bigger items tend to fall off my radar and don't get on the table.
That makes sense.
Like the pitchers. Normally I have 3 larger pitchers or vase. Like I usually have 1 vase and like 2 pitchers on the table at the show this weekend. I nearly sold the vase for $100, but she was so on the fence about it, and she was like, and it's one of those where I let it breathe and just let it go and see, because she was so back and forth. She even like told her daughter to like go play with the grandmother.
Yeah.
And she was like, go play with them. And then she was like looking at it and like brought her husband over and was like, what do you think about it on the mantle? Like about that and that. And she was like so on the fence about it. I'm like, and I almost wanted to be like, do you want it for 90 or like,
I would have done that. I think I would have done that. Yeah.
But I just kind of let it be a little bit. She ended up not buying it, but
yeah.
I don't know. They take up so much, and then like the serving bowls, or I don't really. I put 1 on the table. I think I might have sold 1, but yeah, they just don't.
I think
I don't know. It's harder for me to put those on the table.
Yeah, I think that the thing about those mixing bowls is that I've done so many mixing bowls for Graves Co. And I really have the spout down. Mm-hmm. Like, the spout is the most important part of the mixing bowl, because if it looks nice, people are like, that's a nice fucking bowl. You know? And so I think that's what sells it, honestly. I don't think that...
And there's no handle on it, right?
No handle. Somebody was like, would you make these with a handle? I was like, absolutely not. No. I was like...
The handle's just gonna get broken.
Right. I mean, like, if anybody has had a Pampered Chef mixing bowl, measuring bowl in the past, they know how fucking annoying handles are. They're so annoying. They don't stack. It's terrible.
Yeah. I'm thinking of packing my soup bowls in my bins for the shows, and I'm like, these kind of suck to pack.
Yeah, and mixing bowls are great to pack because they're like, they just nest right inside of each other. But yeah, I trimmed these last ones.
Okay.
The other ones.
Did you price them more because you trimmed them?
They haven't come out of the kiln yet. They're cooling. They're like drying out right now. But yeah, the ones before, they still looked nice with like a flat bottom, but There's just something about a trimmed foot on a really big bowl that just looks real nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a piece that big that they're gonna pay some money for, you might as well make it a little nicer.
And I even put a little indent in the foot so that if you put it in the dishwasher, all the water would drain.
Oh, nice.
Fancy. I'm getting fancy.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this week I threw a ton yesterday. I've been kind of having late nights a little bit throwing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice getting in the midst of throwing some more. I didn't realize this, but I looked at my calendar, and I feel like I just shared this on stories, but I have 8 shows in 10 weeks.
What?
It's gonna be nuts. 8 shows in 10
8 shows in 10 weeks?
Yes.
What the fuck?
I'm like, how am I gonna make that many oil? I got scared off these oil bottles. I'm like, well, I don't expect to be selling 40 oil bottles. I'm like, I cannot make that many. So I'm kind of glad more mugs did not sell. I have a show this weekend. It's like a 6-foot table kind of show, I think. So I'm not expecting to sell a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like a $750 to $900 day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 4-hour show, so I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, some of these other ones are gonna be tough.
And we're doing the coffee show together.
Yeah, that's the last one of the 10. That's 10 weeks away, or 9 weeks away, maybe.
Yeah,
because I included this past weekend. So
I don't have a show the 3rd or the 10th, but I have one 17th, the 24th, and then I'm in Colorado the 1st and the 8th, and then I have one the 15th and the 22nd. So I do have something happening like every single weekend, work related.
yeah.
Yeah. Is the coffee show 2 days?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Saturday, Sunday.
Do I have to have coffee mugs?
I mean, you should, but you can have some shitty cups. I'm gonna have plenty of mugs, but
okay.
Don't be surprised if people want mugs. Do you want to sell more stuff?
Shut up, Ryan. I will make mugs.
No, I'm asking like a legit question. Like, do you want to sell more stuff, or do you want like shitty cups? Like, I don't have shitty cups, so you're gonna have the market on the shitty cups.
I mean, I'll have shitty cups for sure, and I'll have like tumblers. I find that there's like a definite market for people who like non-handled cups for coffee. I get the question all the time, like, how does this handle with heat?
What if you made can you make like mini shitty cups, like espresso size?
Oh, that's a good idea. I
feel like those would sell. Like if you made them like your mini fancy cup size.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Would be perfect.
I should do that. Okay, I'll do that. That's a great idea. I
don't know how much you sell them for, but I would put them at a premium kind of, because there was a guy at the show this weekend. He does woodworking and he does espresso, and I traded a cutting board. It was like a $65 cutting board or $80 cutting board for like 6 or 7 shot glasses.
Nice.
And he was using them for his espresso, and he was like, he's so into it. He's like, yeah, they got to hold this much, and if they're wider mouth, it's better because the espresso technically goes down and then it splits.
Yep.
So he was getting all like sciencey with it, and he's like, people don't really make espresso cups or whatever, and I wanted handmade ones, so
that's a great. Okay, you make the coffee mugs. I'll make espresso cups, little espresso.
And honestly, you might get some like, I don't know if you want it, but you might get some coffee shops that'll walk around if they like it.
Should I put little handles on them? I feel like I shouldn't.
No.
Okay.
Is it gonna have a little dimple?
Yeah, I'll put a little dimple in it.
Yeah. Why do you need a handle?
Yeah.
You don't want to put handles on them anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever get the question like? Do you ever get the question, how hot does this get? Like, can I put coffee in it? Like, can I hold this with coffee? Because that's what people ask me with the shitty cups. They're like, am I going to be able to hold this with coffee in it? And it's such a subjective question, because it's like, well, are you drinking tea? Are you drinking coffee at 200 degrees? Are you drinking coffee at 160 degrees? Like,
yeah, how hot is your coffee?
Right. And so my general answer is, it would be just as hot as if you had a paper cup from Starbucks. Like,
with the little warm.
No, not with the warmer. Like without the warmer.
Yeah.
Just a paper cup. It'd be as hot as it would be with a paper cup.
Maybe I don't know. It might feel hotter. I don't know.
It might feel hotter. Do you think that's an appropriate answer? I don't know how else to answer it.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be rushing out of the house with it in my hand to the car because I almost guarantee you're going to drop that motherfucker unless you're walking like 5 feet.
I don't think people are taking it to go. I
I mean, I would be nervous pouring it right out of the like boiling water or whatever and carrying it 10 feet across. Like, it's going to be hot.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, coffee isn't typically boiling, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, tea is different. Like, I'd say definitely not tea. Like, you're not going to be doing this with tea. This is not a tea
about
cup.
100. Generally, you don't want to boil tea either.
Ooh.
It gets too hot.
I got, black tea.
At least I don't.
Black tea you're supposed to boil. But guess what?
Mine tastes burnt the last time I had black tea.
Dude! I got Thai tea. Again, I have 3 different types of Thai tea now because I'm still trying to find the best one.
Jeez.
And I got a French press so I could do it with a French press now. And
You fancy, huh?
yeah, French press for tea, not for coffee. And and it burned it. It fucking burned it. So
yeah, you don't want it boiling.
What do I want?
Generally, you want tea. I would say a good temperature is like 160.
Okay, I can do that.
And you're not supposed to like just leave the tea bag in there either. Like, you're supposed to steep it for like 5 to 7 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the tea.
Yeah.
There's some specifics there, but yeah, I boiled the tea kettle and then poured it in last week, and it tastes different. You don't want to do that.
Okay. Oh,
So.
not that. I did not say that. Nope.
Becca, you trying to get canceled here?
That is my worst nightmare. I'm not even kidding. Like, because I always say KK.
You usually text me and you just say K, and I'm like...
Yeah. Well, when I get really excited, I do multiple Ks, and then I realized one time that if I did 3 Ks, it was a really bad situation, and I shouldn't do that, and that just happened verbally, and it's a nightmare.
If you go to a baseball game and they do strikeouts, and they put the like numbers in the boards and stuff?
Yeah.
They never put the third one up. They always put the fourth one up, and then they put the third one up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At least at the Reds game, and I think most games do that. Like,
yeah.
They don't put it straight up there. Because they assume somebody's going to, like, take a photo of it and use it for bad purposes or whatever.
Yeah.
So they always put the fourth one in, and then they slide the third one in, so there's always 4 Ks.
I mean, that's good character. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I apologize. That was not on purpose for anybody that's listening. That was just me being excited. Multiple Ks.
Yeah. So I'm actually a little nervous about making sure I have enough stock, but usually I'm pretty good about stock. Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of on it. I
think you'll be fine. I'll
be good. That's where I'm like, that's where you want your prices to be at a certain point to where you're not selling out. Like, there's another Clay Lines member that was at the show this weekend. She's like, I almost sold out. Like, I have this show in 2 weeks, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm like, put like an uncomfortable price on there tomorrow, as in like Sunday. She was saying that on Saturday. I was like, or like starting the day Sunday. I'm like, mark it up an extra $10 or $15 and like see if it sells. Like, if it doesn't, that's all right. You got it for next time. And if it does, then, you made more money on it.
Right. I find that I have this like system going on right now that like just through random circumstances, like Merritt and Sarah have been occupying the kilns just because they have shows and stuff, and which is absolutely okay that we all share it. And but like, at the beginning of the farmers market season, Sarah was like gone and Merritt wasn't kind of like in there very much, so I had the kilns all to myself. And so I was doing it like weekly, and now I make like a big load 1 week and I like don't make anything for like 4 weeks, and then I make another big load and then I don't make anything for like 4 weeks. And that's kind of
like one full kiln load.
Oh no, like a couple, like,
oh, okay,
yeah, like full loads. And so I'm trying to kind of like come back from that, but yeah, I do feel like I'm a little low on inventory. I went from 4 boxes to 2 boxes in the last couple weeks.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a tight amount of work.
Yeah.
I would feel super stressed. I feel like I'm just missing out on opportunities if I don't have enough work.
Right. Well, I'm switching over to doing jewelry and like earrings. And look, I have this nice display I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. It's right there. I had to put it up against the wall because Lloyd was trying to tip it over. But, so I have this nice display, and I'm, like, really trying to try this time. I'm, like, trying to try. And,
Are they all the same price on the shelf, or are they going to be different prices based on the level they're at or something?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm, like, really trying to plan, you know? And so
Yeah.
I'm decreasing the amount of pieces that I have with those. Like, and bringing in jewelry. So I figure, like, I just called Val today, and yesterday I was like, I don't want to make mugs. I'm not going to make mugs. I don't want to make mugs. And so I'm canceling out mugs, and I'm doing pinch pots, shitty cups, the rest of the tumblers that I have, and the big bowls. And I'll have fancy cups just there. But kind of like narrowing down the products, because I used to have planters, and the planters have done really, really, really well for me this whole season, but I also don't feel like selling them anymore. So
Yeah. We're going to, at the coffee show, we're going to be one of the only potters there. So I know there's probably a couple more potters, and I think Queen City Clay's normally there, and Queen City normally has an assortment of mugs from their staff and studio member or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to have the widest selection of, like, production kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see why you couldn't bring earrings with you. I feel like some people might like that.
Yeah.
I don't think they would care. It doesn't take up much space, so.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll see.
I think you could sell some fancy cups too, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I can't put handles on them, but
I don't think you need handles, but like
I'll bring them.
people drink wine or whatever, like.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I feel good about, like, kind of like lessening my inventory with the introduction of the jewelry.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
And that'll be way easier to. Are you just gonna? I've seen some people with jewelry like that on shelves. They like plastic wrap the whole thing so it stays together, and they don't have to, like, load it. But
I'm still trying.
There's not that many
decide.
shelves, so.
I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. Because this thing, what I could do is just leave them on the clips and just take the wires out. You know? And just, like, stack the wires.
Are they, like, clothespinned to it, or is it just like a hook?
They have little tiny clothespins on them. They're cute as fuck. Look at these.
So they'll stay on there. That's good. Oh, yeah, those are cute.
They're very tiny.
Yeah, they won't. Hopefully the thing doesn't blow over. Like, if you get a gust of wind, is it going to blow over?
I don't think so, because I was thinking about that, and I think I'm going to put some Velcro down on the table.
It's not. What if the tablecloth tight enough where it won't just, like,
there is
fall
no
over,
tablecloth. Though? It's not a tablecloth.
Oh, you're just gonna Velcro it to the table.
Yeah, because I have nice looking tables, so I just leave them on tablecloth. So I'll just do Velcro on the table.
That might work.
And then, and that way they won't blow over. It's pretty heavy. I don't think it'll.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I have to look at the setup still. If I like this display, then I'll buy another one. I did ask my woodworker buddy if he would make me one, because I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But now that I see it with, like, more than 2 little thingies on there, I'm like, oh, it does look kind of nice.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. It'll look good when it's all full, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Do we want to go to a listener question?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one comes from Elsewhere Alchemy. First time caller, long time listener. Do either of you have any practices that go against consensus or traditional hard beliefs in pottery community? I was listening to an episode where Becca mentioned there's really no need to wire off a pot, and you can simply let it dry on the bat and it'll pop off on its own, reducing the need for trimming. This blew my mind and I can't wait to try it. It made me wonder if there are any other things we all do just because you're supposed to, but maybe that there is no need, or maybe there is a simpler way. Thanks.
Like everything.
Like, I hate trimming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just not going to trim an inner foot on something.
Yeah, me and Ryan agree on that one.
Yeah. I feel like it's I don't know. I mean, if you're like philosophical potter, like art pot, like, I don't know. Like, I get it, but I'm here for production to make it affordable.
Yeah.
And to make money.
And clearly he makes money.
I don't care enough about the foot of a bowl to be like, hey, this is a better quality bowl because it has a foot on it. Versus like, does it still function as a bowl for what somebody, for a Joe Schmo is going to use it for?
Right. And like mentioned earlier, I pretty much don't trim anything except for large bowls. Mostly because it just makes me so goddamn happy to see like a nice ass foot on a large mixing bowl. They're just, perfection. But yeah, no, I don't trim cups, bowls. I don't trim anything if I don't, like, unless it's a large bowl, I don't trim anything.
Yeah. And if I can get away with it, just trimming the outside edge, like just softening that curve on the bottom edge. And that's it.
Yeah, that's definitely a against the grain type of thought. Also, flat bottoms are an against the grain type of thought. You know?
I don't get why it's such a...
Well, I guess this is the whole idea of a flat bottom, from what I understand, is that it's so if you have an indent on the inside, then only the ring is touching the table. And if you have a nice wood table, then it's less surface area on the table. But a ring is a ring. and like I don't see the difference between a ring that's hollow and a ring that is filled in. So...
A ring that is filled in. This is a custard donut. It's not a regular donut.
Yeah, I mean, like...
It's a there's a ring there. You just have to be a little bit more... You just got to think about it a little more. Use your imagination.
So, I guess as far as the ring is concerned, I don't get it. But I do think that if you are having an issue with your bottoms, like, not being flat, then you should put a little divot in.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I can see that some people would think, oh, you flip it upside down, and they think that it was not taken into account. It was like a shortcut.
Yeah. But it is a shortcut.
Like, it is a shortcut, but it's intentional, and that's why it's priced the way it is. And also, that's why I sand the bottom.
Or you mean Rachel sands the bottom? Well,
Rachel sands the bottom, or Erica does. But, that's why it's softened a little. Like, I am putting some attention to it by sanding it. Before, I would have felt a little bit iffier about having a flat bottom on a speckled clay that's grittier without sanding it at all. But if it's sanded and it's softer, I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, I take a sanding pad with me to shows. I make too much shit and I'm one person to sand, so I just sand it as I sell it. But what was I gonna say?
I'd say that's the main thing.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say extruding handles. I feel like extruding handles is a really it's like an up and coming trick. It's like an up and coming little shortcut.
More acceptable.
It's a little bit more acceptable, but it's not as, still like the old school potters are still going to be like, pull your fucking handles. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. Some pulled handles I don't like the look of, though.
Oh, same.
Like, some of them are too chunky, in my opinion. And I'm like, an extruded one would look better. But, I don't know. I feel like some extruded ones you could... I mean, if they look so consistent... Some I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there are some extruded handles that you can't even fucking tell. Isaac, start extruding your handles. Good Lord. I'm kidding.
Or they use it as a template.
Isaac's...
I'm sure a lot of people use extruded handles as templates, and then they can pull it from there, too.
Yeah. I'm kidding about that, by the way. Isaac's handles are beautiful. Well, and sometimes, honestly, pulling handles is faster than extruding. It can be, if you're really, really fast. It just does wear down on your body a little bit more.
Pulling handles? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
I think it really
the
gets
amount
in your
of
shoulder.
like contorting you're doing with your
Yeah.
hands too, like really fine-tuned finger motions and like the like tighter compact your hands are and your fingers are,
Yeah.
I feel like it's putting more strain. Like the pulling motions with pots and
For sure.
yeah. I could definitely see that.
Oh, what about like buying glazes? I feel like buying glazes is totally not accepted in like the mainstream pottery world, but like
Really?
well, maybe, I don't know. Like the old school pottery world, definitely no, but like it's getting a lot better for sure. Now I feel like it's almost odd that I mix my own glazes.
I think it's the dominant way that people get of all I don't know. Would you say of all potters selling? More people are using commercial glazes than mixing their own?
Yeah, you're probably right.
But the longer years you've been in it, you likely mix your own.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much cheaper. Like, so
Yeah.
Nick from work, he has so graciously given his talents of glaze mixing to us. And so I was like, could you please mix my glaze for me? Because I just don't want to. And so he like mixed it, and it was like $20 in materials. That was it.
Yeah, that's great. Did he go and get the materials too? And
I paid him $30. I'm like,
nice, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could just be like, hey, can you go mix this glaze, make me a 10,000 gram batch?
Yeah. And
tell me how much it is.
He's like, he likes the science. Well, I don't know if he likes it, but he's a nice person and he's willing to do it.
I mean, there's definitely a business in that. I feel like if you're in a good area, you could probably make a business of just making glazes for people.
Oh my God.
And make a little bit of money.
Honestly, though, that's a great business plan.
I mean, as long as you're taking care of your masking and like,
right,
you know, taking care of that kind of stuff, so that you're not gonna kill yourself with silicosis trying to make everybody's.
But then, like,
glazes.
if you messed up and gave it to somebody, you'd have to be really on your game.
Yeah.
And make sure you're not messing up anything.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you deliver it with a test tile or something.
Ah, that's a good idea. Well, no, you couldn't do that.
Why not?
Because then you'd have to have a ball mill, because you'd have to mix up the whole thing dry. Like, because I got it dry and then mixed it into water.
Oh, I thought he gave it to you liquid.
No, that's really heavy.
Oh, okay.
No, he just gave me a bag of dry mix.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean dry mix. I just meant. What do you mean a ball mill? You could ball mill it, and how would you get a test tile from ball milling it? You would like make a little bitty fraction of it in liquid, and then just test that little bit.
Yeah, because the only way that you could actually make it so that if you took a little sample of it to make sure it was okay, would be if it was completely mixed up dry. So like you'd have to ball mill it.
Up.
Yeah, you'd have to ball mill it. So.
Okay.
And basically, ball milling is essentially just rock tumbling, but bigger.
Yeah.
So.
Because otherwise, you couldn't just hand mix all that stuff.
Right.
Equally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, but anyway, I felt really appreciative of that, and it cost so little. So Nick, if you wanted a side job, a side hustle, now you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got built into my glaze recipe spreadsheet I have like some extra charts or like columns on it to price out how much I paid for this and what quantity, and then it maths out for 10,000 grams, here's how much this glaze cost to mix with the prices that you paid for your last batch of stuff. And yeah, most of them are like $50 or less. Most of them are like $25, $30.
Right, if it has like a really intense like
and then if it's
cobalt
like,
or whatever tin.
Yeah, if it's juicy turquoise, it's like $50 plus because it's got tin oxide in it. Yeah, and some of them are getting more expensive. So, okay, cool. Thanks for that question, Elsewhere Alchemy. All right, do you want to introduce what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so our whole topic essentially today.
44 minutes in.
Yeah, but we've been talking about solid material for like 35 minutes, to be completely frank. Anyway,
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Also, have you noticed that Charles has been absent because I've been in my apartment?
Yeah, it's like a bunker in there or something. You
I know.
can't hear Charles. Charles is missing in action
I'm
for
a
at
little sad.
least like 15 episodes, I feel
A
like.
little sad. I know, because, like, it just became so convenient to do this in my apartment. Anyway.
Sad.
Since I've got internet. Anyway. Okay, our question is from Cindy at Green Cabin Pottery. And, a little backstory. She's in Vancouver area, I believe.
Washington?
Canada.
Or Canada.
And she's in like a tourist town, but she also does wholesale. So, okay, she says, I have been asked for a wholesale products list. Is there a formula? Is there a way to keep it simple instead of everything that I make? I have 5 wholesale customers and 2 large custom order clients at present, and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. In early spring, they request products that I make: mugs, 3-pound bowls, planters, goblets, small plates, espresso cups, soup mugs, and amounts from 30 to 100 of each for a seasonal order. They run out and want more halfway through the summer. I have 2 baby kilns. I'm working my ass off and don't get enough done for any local shows. Okay, Ryan, how do you even have bisqueware on your shelves? How? Any advice? How do I figure out what I can do and let the customers know that there is a limit? The monster has been created, now to how to make it manageable. Thank you.
Wow. A lot in there.
Lots. There's lots to unpack.
And she also sent us wholesale price list, and I think her other one is just her regular price list.
Okay.
As well as price list that is not wholesale.
Yeah, Ryan just quickly asked her before we started talking about it.
Everything's in Canadian prices. Canada prices.
Oh,
Small town,
Canada,
3,000 people.
Something land. Dun 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 dun. I don't even know the Oh Canada song, but
Oh Canada.
did I tell you on the 4th of July while I was leaving Teresa and Brandon's house, I blasted out Oh Canada?
No.
It was great.
And she says next closest city is 120 miles away. Northern community, not near any large city center, and no real competition. Okay. So she's giving us some extra context. That was just helping a little bit with, because I'm sure part of what we're going to talk about is pricing.
Yeah.
Of it. So. Okay, 5 wholesale customers, 2 large clients, large order clients. Okay, so I guess one starting point, do you have certain times a year that you would allow wholesale orders if you're also doing shows?
No.
I would just have to be realistic with like delivery times of, if I got shows coming up, I'd have to be honest with them, like, hey, this is probably going to be more like 6 to 8 weeks instead of 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. I suppose there could be a moment where you could be like, hey, like, Christmas time where you're like, hey.
No more, like, give me your wholesale orders before
this time, yeah.
Mid-October, maybe.
Yeah. And, I do feel like these wholesale prices are great. I do feel, I don't know. I just completely lost my train of thought.
I think you got to kind of balance between what do you prefer to be doing? Do you prefer to be doing wholesale, or do you prefer to be selling at shows?
Right.
Or how much do you want to do of each? Because if wholesale is taking too much of your time and you can't have work for shows, is it worth scaling back a client?
Right. And it looks like she's not like, I think in her case it would be very quick edit. P.S. Cindy, on your wholesale prices, planters is one space over. On your second line. Anyway, her wholesale price is not much different than her retail price, which, is technically fine. Like
14-ounce mugs.
25, and then the retail price is 28
plus tax. Wow.
So, and what I told her is like, you need to basically, and we've talked about this before, you need to, if you plan on doing wholesale, you need to price your pieces out as wholesale and then figure out your retail from there. Because if you're not willing to sell it for less than $25 wholesale, then maybe your mug needs to be $40 retail.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind. And I definitely think, especially if you are in a tourist town, you could be selling it for $40 retail, especially if you're doing like her mugs have logos on them, those like little badges.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, I would feel it'd be a super steal if I could get a 14-ounce mug for $28 retail.
Yeah.
With a logo on it. That sounds like, well, I'm thinking US dollars, but either way.
Well, what's 25 Canadian? Okay, $25 Canadian.
$20 US, basically.
Oh, for sure you need to raise that. Yeah.
$20. I mean, I would... Okay, let's see. Canadian dollars, 40 Canadian dollars is 31 US dollars.
I think...
If it's got a logo on it, I still feel like that's a little low.
I think you could sell it for 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this...
I mean, normally if I was doing the wholesale pricing, I would have the wholesale pricing half of what my retail is. So
yeah,
I would sell the 14-ounce mug for $50.
Yeah.
Like, if we're doing exactly half, I just think your retail are underpriced.
Yeah, I think that this is a great time to move up that retail price. Like, keep the wholesale price the way they are. It looks great. Those look fantastic. If I could get that price for retail or for wholesale, fuck yeah. And
that would naturally slow your in-person sales, and you wouldn't feel as overwhelmed with keeping up.
Yeah.
With.
Or,
because I mean, if you literally have a wholesale client that's expecting 30 mugs at $25, and you're like, or I can take them to a show and make $3 more. Like, why would you not do retail wholesale? It's basically
exactly
the same
like
price.
You want to do wholesale at that point. Yeah.
It's a guaranteed sale.
And if you're in a tourist town, like I think she's in a tourist town. If she's in a tourist town, tourists are just automatically assuming that they're going to be buying a mug for $45, $50. Like I don't think you'd even have an issue selling them at that price.
Yeah, I feel like the only people that are going to have sticker shock are your past customers.
Yeah.
That you've retailed to.
And and I know that it's scary like upping the prices, but that's a quick and easy, inflation.
I wonder how she cuz normally the way you would work with wholesale clients when you start out, I would underprice.
Correct. So this is like really good this is a really good starter for that.
I would rather raise my prices to retail customers than have to raise my prices for the wholesale customer.
Yeah, exactly. So you're starting off really well with a good set price list for retail or for wholesale. So also, like I responded to her email because it was a timely situation. But also like, we've kind of talked about this, but when you're making a wholesale list, remember that you don't have to include everything that you make. Your wholesale list is a select items that you choose that are maybe easier for you to make. They are the most profitable for you to make. it's a certain number of items that make sense. And so...
And if you have a new client, you can also tailor it to that client.
Exactly.
If there's something that you've wholesaled in the past, don't feel like you have to wholesale it
in the future. Yeah, and so like...
if you don't like it.
This wholesale list is what, 15 pieces? And her retail list is probably 30 or 40, which is great. Like, I think that that's perfect because those are the pieces you really want to focus on, and those are the pieces that you like making fast, and maybe you get the most profit out of them.
Yeah. I'm glad I asked for the prices. Yeah, the most expensive thing she has on here is Pitcher for 75 Canadian.
In retail, not wholesale.
The retail list, 75 Canadian retail, which equates to about $58 US.
Yeah.
So, we also don't exactly know the market she's selling at, if people would be willing to spend, if you double that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't double it, but maybe 125 Canadian, that would be $100 US. $100 for a pitcher. I feel like that's not out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are the most expensive items you tend to sell. Maybe one. I don't know. It depends on who you are. But personally, for me, I expect to sell the highest price items once every 3 shows or something. Like, I know I'm going to be taking these things to multiple shows before they sell.
Yeah, I'm looking up where she's from. Experience Wawa. It looks beautiful. It's like right on water. So I imagine it is like a touristy location. It's right on Lake Superior. I was wrong about being in the Pacific time zone. It's in Ontario, not British Columbia. Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Not West Coast.
Is British Columbia West Coast? Shit. Now I don't know.
I don't know. Who cares?
Nobody cares.
West Coast. You said West Coast.
It is British Columbia. I was right. Okay. Anyway, I thought it was West Coast. It's not. It's Lake Superior. Yeah. So, okay, cool. What were the rest of her questions?
So we've already said narrow down the products of the wholesale list if you think there are things that you can easily take out of there.
Yep.
And I would just have some of those conversations like the next time they order, just say, or if you book in an order like, hey, this is the last time I can deliver these to you.
Yeah.
I will not be offering these next time. I would say that before you let them order again and expect it. And then that you say, sorry, I don't make those anymore.
Right. Send out an email to everybody. Say, these are the products that I'm discontinuing on my available for wholesale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to give them a little grace, say I'm discontinuing after June or something, like give them a couple month notice, and then you might get some more orders on those if people are wanting them desperately.
Yeah. And then, and I also suggested maybe longer wait times.
Yeah. So like instead of a 4 to 6 week, maybe like a 6 to 8 week.
Yeah. If it's really like, if you're struggling to, like, if you're overwhelmed, maybe a little bit more time might be better to kind of, let me see.
It depends on how close they are too. If they're drivable, I would be willing to like split up the order into a couple deliveries. If that gives them more peace of mind.
Yeah.
I've done that with a recent client. They, I couldn't promise to get everything, but I gave them like half of it. And they're a couple hours away, but they actually were making a visit. But you can also price a delivery cost or something on there if you have to deliver it.
Yep.
Because it is worth your time to have to drive there and back if it's not like right down the street. So consider that as an option. Would you set a limit on the quantity that somebody, or I think we said this earlier, you would not set a limit on how many pieces somebody can order? Or would you just like adjust your weight? Like,
I would adjust the wait time.
You ordered this much, here's the wait time that you can expect.
Yeah, if they like give you an unreasonable amount of product to order, you email back and say, due to the due to the increase of product, my wait time is now going to be 4 weeks more.
Yeah.
And this might, and then it also might encourage them to do smaller, more consistent ordering. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I would prefer that. A smaller, more consistent order instead of like one large, crazy order.
Yeah, amounts from 30 to 100 of each. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine delivering like 60 mugs. Like multiple times.
Yeah. That's how
Wow.
that's how my planter situation was with Urban Sprouts.
Yeah, that's a lot of pieces. I mean, that would basically take up all my time.
Yeah.
If I had multiple clients like that. I mean, that's probably only one of 2 clients that she has like that,
Yeah.
but
Also, I might, if you can afford it, I might maybe start saving up for a new kiln. If you're hauling that many pieces, if you're hucking that many pieces during the day, and doing that many like.
oh yeah, 2 baby kilns. That's working them hard.
Yeah, if you're working them that hard, I might consider saving up for a larger kiln. And if you can't save up, then you definitely need to change your price structure. So if you're doing,
Yeah, I think changing your retail price structure could allow you to
yeah,
make up that difference that you need to pay for another kiln.
absolutely, yeah,
Upgrade the kiln.
yeah,
Working my ass off, don't get enough done for local shows. Yeah, I think it does make it a little more difficult too for planning for local shows. I think you can kind of get an expectation of what times a year and how much your clients are going to order, and that could give you some flexibility of
yeah.
when can I apply for shows and which shows are most effective
Yeah.
for me to sell at.
You know what also might be a good idea is I used to do this for Leavenworth. Is I would take like a month or 2 months and really just like bust my ass and make because she was saying about, you know, like not having bisque around the shelves. It might behoove you to cut off wholesale orders January 10th or January or like not January, November 20th for Christmas. You know, cut them off on November 20th and don't accept them until February 1st. That way you can have the, you know, November or technically December till the end of January to like really get your backstock going and like have a head start, you know?
Yeah. Are you planning on using that to help fulfill wholesale orders first and foremost? Or are you expecting that is to hold you over a little bit for shows?
Either. It could be either. You know? You have
I mean, either way, you're in a good spot. Like,
right.
If you sell all those same items at shows, then
yeah,
it's
maybe like
good for you
choose what you're selling the most of, and just like get ahead on it.
Yeah, looking at that list, I would probably narrow in a little bit of like you might not need. Do you realistically need all of these items for retailing? Because it seems like a big list regardless, but like a big wholesale list, but also like I don't know how I would display all of those pieces at one booth. Like a 10 by 10 booth, you know?
That's a solid point.
And that might be part of the overwhelming part of like I need to have 2 pitchers, 2 vases, a small one small utensil holder, 1 large utensil holder. Like, I mean, like 30 pieces on here of different forms. And even if you had 2 of each of those pieces,
what would you take off?
be 6. I would take off.
No, keep in mind we don't know anything about the clientele. Just like from basic. What would you take off?
I would take off the 10-ounce cups. Goblets.
Mm-hmm.
Candle holder. I don't know if candle holder, ring holder, if that's the exact same form.
Okay.
But having 5 pieces that are all $10 seems like a little much for me.
Yep.
Like I would take off 2 of those $10 items.
Mm-hmm. I would, if you're gonna make goblets, I would double that price, 32.
Yeah.
If you're putting a stem on those goblets, double that price for sure. If they're stemless, don't. It's fine. But
yeah, I don't personally see much difference between espresso cups and small bowls. I don't know if that espresso cup includes a handle, but I would do one or the other. If neither one of them have a handle, then I don't see much of the difference. But I mean, I would probably pick 10 to 15 that sell the most, and just don't take the rest of them to retail.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, because like we talked about earlier, like you can have 1 or 2 forms that actually make up the majority of your profit.
Mm-hmm. I think what I'm gonna like, I feel like who's the guy on like America's Got like not Next Top Model, but Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell.
But I know Cindy's like a really good sport, so and I know she'll appreciate this. So if I'm looking at this list and just like really quickly deciding what to take off.
No.
Okay, let's say I'm gonna say I would take off the wine stoppers. I'd take off the candle holders. I'd take off the goblets, the espresso cup. Well, no, not the espresso cups. The plates, the 10 and 12 ounce mugs.
Those are there's a cup and a mug.
Oh, okay. The 12 ounce mugs. 12 ounce mugs. The lidded jars. The latte mugs. The luminaries. The
garden bells.
I don't think I would take the garden bells off because gardens are really popular. The card, yeah. I don't know what smokehouses are.
There's a few bowls on here.
But I'd take one of the utensil holders off, and that's probably what I would take off. I think there's a lot of things that are. Yeah, I would definitely like take a good look at your retail items and see what's actually selling and what's not, because that will just decrease your stress immensely.
Yeah,
if you don't have
I
to
think
make
there's a lot of
things.
specialty items on here, and by specialty I mean like goblets. I consider specialty. The hanging planters I would consider specialty. Lidded jars or garlic jars, one of those 2 are specialty. Luminaries I feel like are specialty. Garden bells, smokehouses. Like I feel like there's like 10 specialty items on there that you could probably trim that down to 2 or 3 specialty items that are going to grab people's attention.
Yeah. Like, I think garlic jars are a really good seller because people look for those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think lidded jars need to be, like, next to garlic jars.
Yeah.
Planters, I think you can have one type of planter. But also you have to decide, like, I mean, are you selling at a farmer's market? Because then planters really do sell. Are planters selling? So if you're not selling at a farmer's market, maybe hanging planters are the ones that sell the most because they're hanging and people see them. You know?
Yeah. You'd have to tailor your making cycles based on the shows you have coming up.
Right. And like, are bowls selling? Like plain bowls, are they selling? Because you have like the Lake Superior bowls, which I'm sure sell because they have, fun things on them probably. And when I was selling bowls at like shows and stuff, they would almost never sell. Very rarely did a bowl sell.
Yeah, my cereal bowls don't sell as much. I would say, like, percentage-wise of my table, I would probably give about 8% of my table for bowls. Yeah. And they do take up space because they're, I mean, at least they stack, but, like, they take up twice the space as, like, a couple mugs.
Yeah.
Or like the same space as like 2 mugs.
Mm-hmm. And for utensil holders, you're small and you're large. I say just keep the large ones. Who does, like, you know, as somebody who cooks a lot, I've never even ever wanted a small utensil holder. But,
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I don't know how small they are either, so.
Yeah, I think having too many, it looks like having too many sizes of the same thing. Like, I would still consider keeping a couple different size mugs. But, yeah, you do have 12 ounce, 14 ounce latte mugs, soup chili mugs. Yeah. I mean, I think the different size mugs are good, but...
And I definitely, like, it matters where you're selling mugs, right? So, like in Seattle, you have to sell 5,000 different types of mugs because there's 5,000 different types of coffee. But, yeah, for sure. This is an amazing list, first off. The fact that you are making all of these things by yourself is pretty phenomenal. Already.
Yeah, I would not want to stock a booth with all those different forms because I would have to have at least 4 of each thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Keep in mind that we are not saying like this is a bad list. Like, no, this is an amazing list. We're just trying to help with the stress.
With the
like and the ease of selling.
I think we're saying like narrowing the list will ease the stress.
Yeah. And it really takes like some recon to see like what's actually selling, because we could be wrong, right? Like we could be at I forget that like how loud I'm speaking and I'm like in my apartment. We could be, you know, like completely wrong about lidded jars and garlic jars. Like lidded jars could be popping off the shelves. And
yeah, if there's proof that you're selling it, if you've got some information that tells you that they're selling, this is where I would lean on the past sales of data to tell me that this thing is actually selling and worth being on the table.
Yeah.
If it's not selling that much, that's why I don't take medium-sized planters to the shows anymore.
Right.
Or smaller planters. Like, I don't use this table real estate because it's not worth taking attention away from things that are more profitable and more likely to sell.
Right.
So... Plus, I think it looks a little bit cleaner having fewer items.
That depends. That depends.
Your eye's not moving around so much.
It depends. You can like saturate your booth and look like a real old school country potter and like make your booth look really cool with a bunch of different items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to look at a booth shot if she had one. Oh, here we go.
Did you find one?
Yeah, but it's kind of zoomed out. I can't really see it that well. Here we go. It's a pretty good sized booth. It looks bigger than a 10 by 10, but there's a lot of stuff in there. Garden markers. She didn't have that on the list.
Ooh, those garden bells are cool.
Oh, that's what's on the left-hand side over there.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like wind chimes, kind of.
Yeah. And totally.
At a show, are you generally put the same things in a group together and then have all the different colors of that same thing? I think you set your booth up like that, don't you?
I set my booth up in a much like a storefront. So I have all of the wine glasses in one section, and then 3 red or whatever color, 3 black, 3 purple, 3 white, 3 gray.
Like a very organized kind of grid.
Yeah. Which is ironic because of who I am, but
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like it to be pretty organized. I like it to look like you walked into like a retail store.
Yeah. I like the tray containers, like the bowl container. They take up a lot of space on the tables though, so I'm getting a little tight on space options, tabletop space. But yeah, sometimes I can. If I have more space, I could probably take an extra table, like a 4-foot table.
Yeah, you know what? I think I would like having like a little, like a, when I used to do shows in Leavenworth, I used to have all of my small mise en place bowls like in a container, and I think I would like to have like the spoon rests in a container too, but I just haven't found one yet. And I would love to have the pinch pots in a container, but what I found is that they just stack up. like because they're so easily like nested inside of each other, they just like stack, and
my
it's not
small
like a
bowls fit in
random
the
selection, you know.
I feel like they have to. I usually stack them in 3s or 4s of the same color together. They generally take them out and like shift them around on the table as long as there's enough table space in front of it. But yeah, it does get kind of hard to see all the colors because they're just in this little container that's
definitely
deep enough so that you can't see that many colors.
Yeah, definitely my favorite setup for pinch pots, small bowls, for all of you that don't know what pinch pots are, and they're not pinched, they're thrown.
Pinch of this, pinch of that. Pinch of that. Is what she means.
We like to look on the kitchen side instead of the ceramic side. My best setup was when I did the fence boards and they were hanging down, and they were like shelves from the side of the booth. That was definitely my best display for pinch pots for sure. I need to get back to that. I need to make another one.
Okay. I had a question here. So, simplified question. How do you personally decide what's worth wholesaling?
If I can make it over and over again and I don't fucking hate it at the end of it, I'm fine with it.
Do you care about how much profit it's going to make, or is it mostly about like, do I mind making 50 of these?
I care about how much profit to a point. Yeah. Like, I think that because of my past experiences with like selling way too cheaply, I definitely like my retail prices. So what I've kind of concluded is that my current retail prices are actually wholesale prices. So I'm just like selling wholesale to the general public. Like, so like when I opened up a fair account, I just used my wholesale prices. Like the wholesale prices are the same as the retail prices. Like I don't.
Yeah. Did you get any orders on there yet?
No, fuck no. Nobody likes me, which is fine. Whatever. I don't care. But like, I think that that's kind of like what I've decided. Yeah, I do think that it needs to have quite a bit of profit. I think that, just learning over the past couple of years and definitely taking the approach of find your retail price find your wholesale price first and then your retail price. That takes a lot of stress off, Wholesale has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think some of this, like she had some specialty items on here for wholesale as well. I don't think that's a bad idea because you're going to, it's a way to distinguish that
for sure.
Your work in that shop. So it's something that people will come to see rather than like just another mug.
Yeah.
So I do like the specialty item in there as long as it's being priced appropriately to where you can still make a profit.
Yeah.
At the wholesale price.
And I think that also, like when we look at specialty items, in regards to wholesale, specifically if you're putting a badge on anything, you really have to take that badge into account for price. And like, I find that when I used to do badge mugs for wholesale, I fucking hated them. And I never was charging the right amount. But also, like, that takes...
What would you realistically charge them today if you were pricing the badge mugs and you had to make them?
okay, let's assume that I was doing a mug club. So it was like a pint, like a pint size, with a badge with a logo that I have to screen print the logo on. I'd probably do decals now. So I was decaling the logo on, so that's a third firing. Mug price, I'd probably do probably 25.
25. Yeah, that's
Wholesale?
what I was thinking in my head. You're about to say 20, and I was like, that's too low.
No, I wasn't
25.
actually. I wasn't about to say
25 wholesale.
25 wholesale. I think that's what I do now. And when I was doing
50 retail.
When I was selling them, it was 13 wholesale. So like that's how much different.
Yeah, that's like the price that you would do without a badge, probably.
Yeah, I mean that badge
Today.
really makes a fucking difference. There's so many things that can go wrong with a fucking badge. They can lift off. They can you can get glaze all over them. You have to wax them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many things.
You have to put the decal on as well, so that's a
third
risk.
firing. Like there's just so many things that happen when a logo is involved.
Yeah.
So
I have there's a potential client at the show this weekend. She owns a new yarn store here in Covington. And I was like, yeah, I sell some yarn bowls at a couple yarn shops. And she's like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in wholesaling some yarn bowls. So I'm thinking about talking with her and seeing if there's a possibility for a partnership there. I wouldn't mind it. And she was kind of like, yeah, I'd rather do wholesale than consignment because you kind of get your money. And with those kind of stores, I tend to have things sit there for a long time, and then I get them back, and it's like I can't sell this. Like it looks so old school with my newer yarn bowls I make. So it's like, would I mind? Let's say my smaller yarn bowls retail for 40. Like, would I be happy getting 20 for them?
Right.
And that's where it's like, I think I would be okay with that. And then how many am I talking here? Am I making 10 of them? Like, that's not too bad. $200.
Right.
Which is not too bad. That's, and then it'd be cool if they were flexible with the colors. Like they weren't so specific on colors. They were just give me a mixture of colors, which I really enjoy that part. Like shot glass orders, I'm like, wholesale shot glasses, give me a mixture.
I love that.
I prefer speckled clay. Like, that makes it easy because I've got so many combinations. Like, it's not a big dent in my colors. I'm like, I gotta do.
My favorite wholesale client, not really favorite client, but the favorite order was just he ordered 150 pinch pots, and he wanted all the different colors, but he also you know how I used to do a little swirl of white in them?
Mm-hmm.
He loved that.
Kinda.
He there was just a little swirl of white in the color, and he loved that. And I was like,
did you just have it in a bottle or something and squirted it in there?
No, I just used a brush, one of the Asian inking brushes, the Chinese inking brushes, and just swirled it, and then there was dots and a line, and it's just beautiful. I thought that was
That's
one
cool.
of my favorite things because it was it was a little different,
Yeah, you can get a little more. You feel like you're a little more creative.
Yeah,
a little more artistic with it.
And it doesn't even have to be all that creative. You can still I still was okay, I'm doing 150, so I need to do 11 of each color or 12 of each color.
You didn't feel so robotic that.
Yeah, and indeed.
Yeah, I feel like they're less likely to say something if they're like, I want 10 in this color, 10 in that color, 10 in this color.
I still like that, by the way.
Expect them to look perfect.
No, I don't. Yeah, if they don't expect them to look perfect, I still love that. When I'm doing these made to order stuff, it's nice to have a list and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Takes the guessing out of it.
For sure. My mom.
Yeah. Okay.
My mom. This is the worst. It's the worst and the best. Of course, my mother's like, can you make me 2 20-ounce mugs? And I'm like, fine. And and I was like, what color do you want? She's like, any color is fine. And I'm like, that's not true. Any color is not fine. I know what colors I'm going to do because I know my mother. But But
yeah, it's like, give me 2 or 3 options.
Yeah.
Don't give me any colors,
Yeah.
because are you going to complain if I come up with something that is not what
Right.
you wanted? Oh, I didn't think you were going to give me this.
Yeah. Like, I know she'll love the purple, and I know she'll like the white, so I'm going to do those colors. But, yeah. Oof.
Okay. All right. So another question. With the pricing, and this doesn't necessarily have to relate directly to Cindy, because we already kind of looked at her prices, but when do you like increase prices to make sure you can keep up with delivery and the other events and stuff you have going on? Would you suggest, like, or maybe this is a good option, do you suggest increasing prices or like limiting items, or maybe that's 2 different things? But
I think both can happen. But I would say if you're going to increase prices, do it quarterly. Make it consistent, you know?
yeah, I always tended to let them know, like, hey, my next one, my price is going to be higher on this item, or here's my newest list.
Right.
Once you're fulfilling the current order.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous that we can't raise our price. Like, we can raise our prices. Like, what did Scott and every single kiln company do at the beginning of 2020? Oh, our new prices for our kilns are these. You know, like, that's absolutely acceptable.
Yeah. And I mean, and generally my clients, that when I have raised prices, they just keep ordering the same price. They just get fewer items.
Yeah.
I told, like, the shot glass order, I was like, they used to be $4, now they're $5. So instead of her getting 50, she's getting 40.
Yeah.
For $200 worth. So it's like, yeah, I'm good with $200 worth, whatever that is. And I'm like, yeah, it's 40. So she's got 40 now instead of 50.
Right.
So you got the same amount of money, and you made a fewer items. So it's like, that's great. I mean,
if you're going to raise
doesn't seem like much, but it adds up.
If you're going to raise wholesale prices up significantly, maybe do a whole, like, you know how the government does, like, if you're going to raise the minimum wage, it's going to be $13.50, then it's going to be $14, then it's going to be $14.50. Like, it might be something where you're like, hey, to your wholesale customers, you're like, hey, this is going to be the price at the beginning of January 1st, 2023. Every month until then, I will be raising the prices in increments of this amount. It is up to you if you want to get your orders in now as opposed to later. But this is the schedule of the prices that will be, you know? And by January 1st, 2023, this will be the price. I think that that's an absolutely reasonable thing to do because you're giving them a head start. You're probably going to get an influx of orders immediately, and they're not surprised when it happens.
Yeah. Give them ample notice. Yeah. I like the quarterly thing. You know, if they don't order from you, but every 3 months anyways, just like bookending an order. By the way, I'm happy to deliver this order. Here's my newest prices that are going to go in effect the next time you order here for the holiday season. And
I mean, if you do have like a short list of wholesale clients, it wouldn't suck to have a quarterly email regardless. You know, saying like, hey, this is what we have right now. Things have been going well. You know, my lead times are getting longer because you guys are ordering more, blah, blah, blah. Also, these are my current prices. And
I would love to have that amount of professionalism with clients of like, I'm going to send an email out on June 1st to all my wholesale clients to let them know to get their orders in early. Here's my newest price list. Here's my whole list.
You could do it, Ryan. Know what orders.
I prioritize shows way more than
that's true.
That stuff.
But if like wholesale is your gig, you know, if wholesale is your gig, that's a totally reasonable thing.
I mean, but you could also keep it simple too, and like just keep the list of wholesale clients that you get, you know, frequent buys from, and just reach out to them a few months in advance and just be like, hey, the holidays are like, reach out now. It's late August now, but like reach out now if you haven't already. Like, don't get surprised by it. Yeah. Be like, hey, I'm just planning for the holidays. Like, let me know if you have any orders in mind, and I'd love to fulfill them. or see what I can do, you know. That way you're putting in their heads. They're not thrown off. You're not thrown off guard when they email you and they're like, I need 100 of this. And you're like, shit, it's late October.
Shut up.
Yeah. In what case would you decide to drop a client, a wholesale client?
If they're a pain in the ass?
If they're like going back and forth a little bit on the prices, or if the like asking for too many things, or
yeah, if they make
like too many different items, or like, hey, this is what I'm willing to offer.
Yeah, if they make my life infinitely harder, I don't need them. Like, if I deliver something and they're like, oh, these aren't perfect, I'd be like, neither am I. Bye. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, some clients.
Or do you narrow the list down if you interact with them in the future? Like, do you send them, here's my new list, and the list is narrowed down just for them because you want to limit what the scope of what you make for them?
Maybe, but that's really, I do have to say this. If you are special, if you're treating a wholesale customer special, that can lead to a lot of issues in the future if you are a forgetful human being and if you don't document everything. So just keep that in mind. If you're like, oh, well, just for you, I will make this price this amount. Or just for you, I will do this product. In the future, you can forget and something will slip up, and then it's just like you have to backpedal and figure your shit out. And
yeah. You'd be like, what was the price again? And then you look back at emails and you have to track down what price you told them.
So keep that in mind. Oh, also, I highly, 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 highly recommend that all your communications with wholesale clients is through emails, so you can look back.
Yes.
Emails or text or something that you can save. Like, don't do it via Instagram message. Like, don't be that person. Yeah. Be like,
and I would find some kind of software that you probably already have access to. Like, I use Square for invoicing.
Yeah.
But document as accurately as you can. Don't just put like a dollar amount on an invoice.
No.
Like, itemize it out with what items, and then write in like in the
colors
notes section like X number of these at this price each, and then like change the quantities so that you have some documentation of what you're delivering and how many.
Thorough documentation, thorough records. It's extraordinarily important.
And take a photo of what you're sending, at least, to like back in your brain. Like, if you forget what colors you did last time, if they say, I want the colors like last time, and you didn't take a picture.
Right. I always used to use the Notes app, and I would have a wholesale folder, and then each client had like the notes of how big. Like, oh my God, especially when you're doing like samples and stuff, and you're like, this is the size. Like, oh, and I made 40 mugs for these people 2 years ago, and they need 20 more. The same size. That fucking sucks when you don't have the documentation. Like, absolutely horrible.
Plus, it makes it easier if they're like reordering. I just duplicate that invoice and then just change some of the information.
Yeah, for sure.
That way you've already got their email and all the... I usually put a little like paragraph at the top of like, this is the initial deposit for whatever, like if you're doing a deposit and then a balance or whatever, initial deposit for whatever, you know, and then I also can set out the delivery date, like invoice due in 30 days, and then set a reminder to them, you know, a week out, and then like a day out, and then even reminders after the date if it's like 3 days after, a week after.
Yeah. Also, I will again offer my services. I have a wholesale contract. If you need it, email me. It might take me a couple days because I have to email it from my computer, but I have it. I can send it off. All you have to do is change your name in it.
Email you at
wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
Right, cool. And or 5linespottery@gmail.com is fine too, with the number 5. I recommend having folders for each in your computer, folders for each client that you have. That way you you
just keep good documentation about each one. And
yeah, like, yes, like you have your documentation, then you can put in your, like, if you have pictures of the items that you're giving, if you have documentation of how big things are in the wet stage versus dry stage, blah blah blah. Maybe if you need to put in the glaze recipe that you're using specifically, like if you do something special for them, and it's just like a folder on your computer in your like wholesale category. Also, oh, I just had it. Oh,
I do that for consignment too.
Yeah,
so
consignment.
I have a lot of consignment options, and I keep that in separate
also
folders.
resellers permits if you need that. Every state is different, so figure out how you want to do, because you are not charging them tax. Therefore, you need their resellers permit to, in order to make that legal, and that goes into a wholesale document as well. So, just keep it neat and tidy, and backed up on the cloud on a fucking.
Somewhere that is not going to lose track of
print it out.
I rely a lot on Google Drives.
Yeah, print it out and put it in a fucking folder. Like, do whatever you need to do. But just make sure it's neat and tidy and documented.
Definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me answer the 3 questions I was thinking of on the side. Okay.
We haven't done like a wholesale situation in a hot second.
Yeah, it's been a while. Have you done? When's the last time you did a wholesale order?
A long time.
Like years?
A couple of years. I know.
Yeah. Do you
part
miss
of
it?
me is like. Part of me wants to like email Urban Sprouts and be like, "Hey, I'm making planters again," and the other part of me is like, don't do it, Becca.
Did you deliver those in person when you did?
Yeah.
Do them?
Oh my gosh, yes. And there was the best Indian food place across the street. Highlight of my fucking month.
What if you're driving across the country for ClayCon, you wouldn't want to like, hey, or you wouldn't want to drive that many across if you made like a bunch? Because shipping would be crazy, right?
Shipping would be pretty insane. But I was mostly considering reaching out and being like, hey, I can make you planter plates if you need to. You know?
Planter plates.
Planter plates specifically, I feel like anybody can find planters.
Yeah.
The plates.
How do you...
So.
The saucers, yeah. Okay, we didn't really talk about this, but... and maybe this is going backwards a bit, but... how have you historically gotten wholesale clients? Have you reached out to people and said, hey, I'm looking for options. I was wondering if you do wholesale or consignment, or just wholesale straight up, or do they come to you? I find historically my people just come to me and just happen to have options for me and be like, hey, what do you think about this?
I think that it's kind of like a mix and match. For me, it's been like both, you know? I've gotten a lot of brewery gigs just by knowing people. I've gotten a lot of... I got one customer in Chino, California, because John, my old roommate, dropped off one of my pamphlets at their store.
Mm-hmm. Your like wholesale books?
At their store. And she like called me and was like, dude, these look fucking great. Let's do it. And they were a consistent client for me. And one of them I got from a wholesale show. Urban Sprouts I got from a friend of a friend who work there and then fucking left on a wild, crazy. I feel like a lot of my connections are with like red flag people, and then they just like flounder off. But yeah, I do not feel like I look for. I feel like it's mostly people coming to you, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the kind of depends on where you're located, but I feel like the kind of shops that you go in and day out that are kind of boutique.
Yeah.
I feel like we have something a little different to offer that you might not see.
Yeah.
In a lot of shops, so I think we might have a little leg up for like just having I get a lot of contacts at shows where people just are around and they're looking for new options to fit in their shop, and I get a lot of contacts from shows.
I do feel like shows are,
because it's like you can show the vast array of what you offer, and then they can feel it, see the quality of it, see the color options that you have, and then I mean, just in this past few months, like the Berea one, I had a wholesale client actually just delivered it at the show this past weekend, 25 oil bottles. And then look at your eyes, you were like,
how much
what?
You sell those for?
They were 17 a piece. They were 34 retail. Look at you. You're like, what?
I think I would sell those at least for 22. Wholesale.
Okay. Well, they were 17 a piece. That's the first time I've wholesaled oil bottles in that quantity. So
yeah.
That
seems low for oil bottles.
I think it was a little over $300 for all of it. But they're thrown. They're the basic. They're the simple.
I know,
oil
but you
bottles.
have the little liddy thing that goes on top, and
yeah. So that one, and then my other wholesaler found me at the Berea show last year. I probably had 3 or 4 wholesalers from shows.
Yeah, shows are a great way to find wholesalers. Like, I got a lot of wholesalers just from Leavenworth. One of them I ate Thanksgiving dinner with.
Really?
Yeah, that was a fucked up situation, but turned out to be a good dinner.
Okay. Nice.
Back in the days of
Was some of your pottery featured at that dinner?
No.
Oh, okay.
But pottery was delivered at that dinner.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh, you should come over for Thanksgiving and just bring the pottery for my order.
It was more like, oh, well, I'm leaving town on Friday. Could you deliver them on Thursday?
You mean Thanksgiving Day? It's like, yeah.
Could you deliver them on Thursday, 2 hours away? Thanks.
Oh my gosh. We will be making dinner, so if you could please drive to me on Thanksgiving Day.
Also,
2 hours here, 2 hours back.
Also, on top of that, could you leave the vacation that you're on 4 hours away and deliver them on Thursday? Back when I had...
Because they needed them... Did they need them for, like, Black Friday sale or something?
No. Back when I had zero boundaries. Like, if that happened to me now, I'd be like, fuck no. Like, what the fuck? No.
That's like, I need them for this sale that I'm doing this weekend, so can you please deliver them last minute? Right. Because I might not have given you enough time to make them, or hopefully you weren't running behind and you...
I don't know if you've ever been on a ferry at midnight, but I have.
Oh my gosh. They run them that late?
Yeah, they do. They have to run them all. Like, some of them, they have to run the whole time. Because it's like the only way to get from one place to the other.
Oh, okay. It's not like we close and we open back up at 6 a.m.
No. It's like it's like a taxi, like, or a train, like a subway. A ferry is like a subway, just across water.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've ever ridden on a ferry.
They're fun. They're lots of fun, actually. Okay. I love ferries, especially when you're in the front, because then you get to sit in your car.
Do you actually like stay in your car the whole time?
It depends. Sometimes you can. I mean, you absolutely can, but typically you get out and go upstairs, and there's like a cafeteria, and there's popcorn and pretzels and stuff, and then you can like go out on the deck, and it's a boat, so there's like seawater and all the shit, and walk around. And
there's a little ferry in Northern Kentucky to Cincinnati, but it's like right by the airport, so it's like it holds like 8 cars or something. It's like literally a cargo thing, and that's it. It's not. There's no deck. Yeah. It's basically just cars on a boat that's the Barrison.
Yeah, the ferries in Washington hold about like 200 cars, 212, somewhere in there. Like insane amount of cars. Like you go up on the second deck, there's always 2 levels. So one, you can hit 2 lanes up on the second deck, so 4 on the second deck, and then you hit like 5 or 6 in the middle.
Yeah.
And they pack those fuckers in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they make their money. I mean, that's how they make their money, so.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. This is sparking some, separate. This discussion has sparked me to reach out to my wholesalers today, or this week maybe. Especially with the shows coming up, I need to.
I'm kind of
make sure to put it in their ear and get it in my own ear of like, hey, I need to make this stuff.
I'm kind of hoping that it would be nice to have a few like consistent wholesalers, maybe some planter wholesalers.
Reach out to that. Did you reach out to that shop? You did not. Do you want to reach out to that shop that I told you about, the planter?
I don't remember this.
The shop that I sell to?
Oh, yeah.
In Hamilton, Ohio?
That would be a drive.
Well, but I mean, what if you delivered 100 or something?
That's
like
true.
It wouldn't
and then
be.
I could go see you. Also go to that Firehouse Sub place.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
That would be consignment, but
yeah.
They sell frequently.
They sell pretty well.
If you don't mind, and you know.
I don't know.
Just an option.
We'll see. I'm gonna see if any of my like winter shows get any hits. You know. Like.
Yeah. Well, do you have business cards? You need business cards.
I'll find the stickers, okay? I will find the stickers. I know I have like hundreds of stickers somewhere. I just don't know where.
At least a bare minimum for the wholesalers. Maybe the customers you don't care as much, but if it's a wholesaler, usually they'll come around with a card and they'll exchange or.
Yeah.
I know who the business is because they've told me, and I save it in Google or whatever.
I'll tell you what, though. If somebody wants me to wholesale mugs, fuck them. No, I'm not doing it. I will not do it. Not anymore. I'm done. Fucking.
Just set the boundary.
I'm fucking done with mugs. Just fucking done.
You know what's better?
Shitty cups are better.
Here you go. Sell these.
So yeah, but I do feel like I'm getting a little bit more connected in like the.
You could probably find a plant place or something, can't you? What if you make garden stakes?
Yeah. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit more connected in the Indianapolis like business community, which I feel I really like that actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'm excited for winter shows. Oh, also, so Rebecca, I think because of I don't know why, maybe because of the store, she backed out of one of the shows that she does. It's called This Must Be It. It's a pretty significant show that's out here in Indianapolis, so I'm taking her spot. So that'll be nice. She said that last year she made like $4,000.
Is that like a holiday show that you're talking about?
It's in October. So they do it like every couple months. So that'll be fun. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. And, yeah. But, also what I was going to say is if my made-to-order stuff kind of pops off and people kind of, like, buy consistently, that would be nice, too. I would take that over wholesale. Well, maybe not. The shipping of that is kind of annoying, but...
Yeah. Would you rather wholesale, like, ship to 2 wholesalers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like 50 pieces, or would you rather ship
100%.
Like 30 orders
100%
of 2?
I would rather ship to wholesale orders. Like a 20 by 20 box, 40 mugs. Hell yes. Like, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, way better than individually packing 40 mugs and labels and well, you're not putting cards in there, but yeah.
Yeah. I did up my a flat rate shipping fee though.
Did
to
you?
10. I can't afford it at 5.
Yeah.
And I just said if
Well, I think shipping's been going up a little bit. I think in the last
I
6
think it
months
has,
or so.
and I just basically said, hey, if it's less than 10, I'll refund. Like if it's more than like $4, I'll refund you. You know.
Yeah. For my pre-orders, I did 65 flat, free U.S. shipping. I retail them for 55, so I just included that $10 in the price, so I didn't have to do the shipping price. So, and then I did $10 U.S., UK, and Canada. I didn't get any orders from there, but $10 flat rate.
Yeah, because then it'd be 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shipped to one of my reoccurring customers. I shipped 4 Becca bowls to them today, and that was like a huge stressor for me because it was like a $200 order, $10 shipping, because it was flat rate, you know, and
Wait, 10? Oh.
because it was flat rate, so they won on that one.
Oh.
That's usually I win, they won on that one.
Because it's not $10 per item.
$10
It's $10
total.
just on the whole order.
So I was like stressing out. I even talked to Chris over at Graysco. I was like, how do I ship these? Like, what should I do? And he was like, well, you can ship it in 1 large box. And I was like, I don't know if I want to ship them in 1 large box. And so I ended up corrugated cardboard. They're 9x4. I ended up corrugated cardboarding each of them with 9-inch corrugated cardboard, and then taping them together so they were like a globe, and then putting them into a 12x12 box, and then putting...
So they were all stacked with corrugated between each one?
Yeah, but I only did 2 per box, so I ended up shipping 2 boxes because I just didn't feel comfortable shipping all 4.
All it takes is a bad thing, and then you probably break at least 2 of them.
And I mean, like, in my opinion, the larger the box, the least amount of breakage, because especially if they can't hold it. Like, if it's heavy, they're not going to,
Plus, with that size box, 4 bowls is not really that heavy.
No. Yeah. I mean, it was like 6 pounds, I think. So, it ended up being $30 to ship both of them. Which, it was going...
And they paid $10 to ship?
Yeah, it was going to Oregon, though. So, it's like... I mean, that's pretty far.
So, it's as if you sold each bowl for, like, $3
right.
less.
So, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Or $4 less
definitely,
or whatever.
I'm, like, not upset about it by any means. You know? I'm not upset about it. It was just, like, a stressful moment. I was like, oh, fuck, how am I going to ship these? But all is well.
Yeah, that's part of the weird pricing of some things where it's like you make less on the item because you're either using a Etsy platform or your website that you got to pay for, so you're making less of a cut versus at a show. And you spend time packing it and going to the post office and shit, which is technically worth your time and money. So it's like you're making less and less on each piece that you ship out. So
it's crazy. And I mean, like, I already sell my pieces for $0 anyway, so like selling them online for $15 and then paying $11 for shipping when my flat rate is $10 is cutting out like $1 out of my $15, you know? So yeah,
15's already a little tight.
Yeah, there might be a small increase on the online Shitty Cup sales. They might go up to 17. So.
Okay. And then the only other thing about the wholesalers that I do for the invoicing is I only accept the ACH bank transfer through Square.
That's a good point.
Because that's a 1% fee from Square. If you take a credit card or a debit card, it's 3% fee.
And I think that
plus the whatever, or 2.9 plus 20 cents, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose an extra 3% on an order that's already 50% discounted.
Absolutely.
So I'm basically like, hey, you need to send me a check to this address or ACH bank transfer for 1% fee.
Yeah, and if you're using QuickBooks, a bank transfer is free. I always either made bank transfer or a check. But I would, if I was in that position where I had to do Square, they'd have to send a check. Like, fuck you. You're a business.
Yeah.
You can send a check.
Or you could add a fee to it.
Yeah.
I was even offered to add a 3% fee, which basically they would cover the Square fees for the convenience. It's like, yeah, it's like when we we did some of the house projects, and it's like, hey, do you want to pay with a check or do you want to pay with a card? I'm like, are you going to charge me a fee? Like a $10,000 job at the house or whatever, and you charge 3% on 10,000. It's like, am I going to get enough cash back on this 3% or whatever to make it worth? It's like, no, I'm just going to send you a check, which is like, you lose the points, but you don't pay the.
I have a general like opinion about paying any small business. If you're going to pay a small business, you pay with no fee or a check. Like, if there's no fee via Venmo or whatever, or a check, or cash. Like, don't fucking make them pay the fee. Don't make you pay the fee. Come on. But, like, if somebody's paying me, like, if I'm at a show or anything, and they're like, do you prefer cash or card? I am almost 150% going to say card. Because, yes.
Really? Why?
Because then it goes straight into my bank account, and I don't have to worry about it. Like, because
That's exactly counter to what you just said.
I know. But if you're dealing directly between... I understand that was completely different, and that's why I said it. If you're dealing directly between businesses, then your amounts are so much higher, right? So you're dealing with, like...
I get what you're saying.
Like, you know...
You're saying be cautious of the fees that they're going to incur on the other end.
And, like, on their end, like, when I'm paying somebody else. Now... If somebody's paying me, like, not a business, but, like, a customer, like, on a $30 bowl, I want them to pay me with a card. Why? Because I have banks in Washington. And and if you give me cash, that just goes into my cash jar, and it just, like, sits there, or I use it for Taco Bell or whatever, which is fine. Totally fine. But the money that I count towards my income is the money that I get via cards. So... That's the money that I take track of.
You're not paying for your studio rent with cash.
So, like, that's why I would prefer card. Because I know where it's going. And I don't really care about the fee. It does hurt. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. But it's like, yeah, that's what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I got a few people that were like, what do you prefer, cash, card? Or usually they were like card or Venmo or whatever. And I was like, well, technically Venmo, I think, takes less of a fee than Square does. But it's minimal. Yeah. So I'm like... you could do Venmo. That's fine.
Yeah. And I don't even offer Venmo as a choice usually because it's just not...
I'm on Venmo Business, so it still takes a fee.
Yeah.
But
I don't do it because even if they do Venmo Business, it's not tracked within, like, taxes purposes and all that stuff, you know? So...
What do you mean it's not tracked? Why would it not be tracked?
I just track everything through Square for, like, taxes at the end of the month.
Oh, you aren't.
I'm not.
You
tracking
aren't tracking
it. Like, I'm not going to take the time to track it. Basically.
I got you. I thought you meant
and it, like
the government's
right
not tracking
taxes,
it. I'm like,
and it does all the things.
Oh, they.
But as far as wholesale is concerned, I'm not charging you tax. You're not fucking paying me on a card. Like, if there's no tax involved, no cards are involved.
Yeah. At my show this weekend, it looks like I got about $200 worth of Venmo.
That's nice.
From just people using it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, if I'm doing like a studio show at my studio, I will 100% do Venmo. But if I'm at a show, nah.
Yeah. Okay. I just transferred it to my bank. There we go.
It's like I
mean, it does take a little more effort with the Venmo though, because I individually like type it up on Square, and then I'm like, it's $36.04 or whatever, and then you got to open Venmo and then like refresh until it comes in, and it's like, Erica, and they're like, yeah, that's me. All right, it came through, and then. Like, you just mark it as cash on Square.
Yeah, that is smart to do it with like that. Like, mark it as cash or a check. I would probably mark it as a check.
It's multiple steps to do the check. I just do cash and cash out.
Yeah.
But
That makes sense to do it that way. Then you don't have to track it on Venmo. That makes sense. I would do that. I just
yeah,
really like to, it's. We've talked about it before. Like, don't keep track of cash because taxes and like the government. But also, if you're in this as a business to like to grow, if you are in it to grow, or if you're in it to like get a certain amount of money, if it's your like livelihood, it almost like you have to count the cash, and you have to tell them
how do you know how good you're doing in a show?
exactly.
Or like, if I had to completely ignore the items that sold as cash, like, I would lose a lot of. For me, the data loss would
Yeah,
be big, and the effect on like how it looks on my books as the income, like how much income did I really do with cash?
right.
Like if I completely ignored all cash
Yeah,
transactions, I would be like, well, it's significantly less. What is it realistically? I don't know, because I don't want to know, because I don't want to
yeah.
document it, because I don't want to log it. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like there's positives to both sides. I guess is what I'm saying.
I think it depends on how big you are, how much profit you're making.
It depends on how much you go to the grocery store. Is really what it depends because, like, I don't know about you, but my cash bag is grocery money.
I can't take that to the grocery. I'd be worried about getting robbed.
No. Just leave it on the top of the fridge.
No.
That's the cash bag. Cash bag is grocery money. You just take it to the grocery store.
I need to take some to the bank.
If you take it to the bank, then they know about it. Anyway.
Start cutting holes in walls over here.
I have a Danny Meisiger, like, lidded jar that's just beautiful. And that's my cash.
Okay, so that's what I need to look for when I come to your place
There's nothing
next.
in there right now. Zero.
Okay.
My cash sales.
Little change, a couple quarters in there. Give it a little shake,
No, the
shake.
quarters are in the milk jug. You've seen like the big fucking wine carafe that's got like it's probably got like $100 and maybe $200 of change in there. But
yeah, I got a lot of change too. I need a Coinstar thing. I don't know. I don't want to pay the fee for Coinstar, so I'd rather take rolls or something.
well, sometimes banks have a coin counter.
Do they nowadays?
Some of them do. I remember when I was in Colorado, there was one bank in Fort Collins. Like, I'd have to drive like 30 minutes, but they would count all of the coins.
And not take a fee for it? That's perfect. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what am I doing here?
But some of them roll. I would totally roll versus taking them a Coinstar. 100%.
Yeah.
And you could get one of those old school counters so that you could like put the things in and just...
We used to have one of those. It was like a spinning wheel, and it had the little like columns of different coins, and it would spin. So it was like the biggest slot was the quarters. So like those fell first.
I love those.
And then the like nickels fell, and then you would just put the rolls in there, and then you like pop it out, and
those were the shit.
It was great. I wonder if my parents still have that. Probably not. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But.
I cannot tell you how many times. So like I have. Ryan's seen it, but I have a wine carafe like of change, and it has like a narrow opening, probably like 2 inches, maybe a little less than 2 inches.
Is it like a big water jug?
It's basically a glass water jug. It's called a tall boy, and I cannot tell you how many. It used to be at the top of my stairs in my old house. I cannot tell you how many times I've fucking emptied that shit out. And, like, I paid one of my car, like, I paid my mechanic in half change once. Like...
Walking there like Kramer, throwing up pockets full of
I was like, I'm so sorry, Warren.
Dimes.
This is all the money I have. And he's like, it's fine. And, like, I used to pay...
Like, what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Every Friday night, me and my buddies would go to... a restaurant, and I used to pay and change all the time. Like every Friday, and the only
so embarrassing.
The
oh
only
my
way
gosh.
to get so if I really want to hide dollar bills, I'll put them down there. So there's 5s and 10s in there, And the only way to get them out is with a toothbrush. So you have to get all the coins out first, and then you can like get a toothbrush in there and like yank out the bills. It's like you're working for the money. You're like working.
If only you can get like that on video of seeing you get this $5 bill out of here.
There's hundreds in there. There's $100 bills in there. I think there might be. Yeah, there's
Really?
for sure 20s. I need to just throw hundreds in there. I have 100 in the back. I always carry 100 in the back of my wallet. Or not my wallet, my phone. Always. Because, just in case.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Why not? Who's going to steal my
don't know.
phone that listens to our podcast?
I don't know.
Nobody.
I hope nobody.
Well, if you do, could you take the 100 and just give me back the phone? Because that's fine with me. But I always carry that just in case, you know, if you leave your wallet or whatever. And then one time I tried to pay for my lunch with a $100 bill, and then they didn't have change because I did forget my wallet.
And they just gave you the
No,
meal.
the people behind me paid because I was like, hold on. And I went into my car because I think I had a 20. And then the people behind me paid for me, which was really nice. And I was like, I had money.
You're like, do you want to trade?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, it's 12.
Yeah.
And we just hit two hours.
Wow. Surprised.
I feel like, I know that we've had some quality ones in the past, but I feel like this was one of our, like, we had a lot of info in this one.
I think so. We hit a lot of different areas of wholesale. Pricing.
Yeah.
Some stuff at the beginning that had some value that I completely forgot what we talked about, but it was some value.
Same. I am 2/3 of the way through a bottle of wine.
Yeah. I'm ready for bed. I'm yawning.
Yep.
We'll have some weekly check-ins about how these shows are going. I got a lot of show information coming your way.
I am ready. I'm going to get these. Hopefully I'll get some of these earrings up on the interweb soon.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to figure out how that looks.
Man, I feel like I'm like trying so hard to keep up with the internet sales and stuff, where I'm like, am I forcing this too much? Because, like, do I really need it? I feel like any of these pre-orders are just extra. Like, I don't really need it. I can take it to a show and sell it. Like, am I working myself too much to do these kind of things? And I'm
Personally, I think you are, because you do so well at shows. Like, I've never known anybody that does as well as you at shows. With the...
Oh, I know plenty of people that do better at me at shows, but they've also been in this for many years, longer than I have.
Yeah, but also, do they have, like, fancy pots? Because you have pretty basic bitch pots.
They have more unique pots.
Yeah, okay. For the basic bitchness of your pots, and, like, I've never known anybody that sells as well as you. And I think that you should not take that... Don't take it for granted, but also, like, realize that is your superpower. You know?
Like, don't kill myself doing these other things that are distracting from the shows.
If you can sell offline and not have to pay shipping, sell offline and don't have to pay shipping.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's like this urge that...
To keep up with the Joneses? Yeah.
To keep up with the following, it feels like I'm not taking advantage of it while I can.
Well...
But also, most people that follow me are not buyers.
They're potters.
They're potters, or they're getting insights.
You have to decide whether you want to be a learning account or a selling account. And I feel like right now you're more of a learning account, you know, as am I. And that's a superpower all in itself, you know? And the fact that you have potters that come to your shows just to see you, just to buy a pot from you, is special, you know? And, like...
That's true. There are some people that have come by at shows recently that are like, hey, I listen to the podcast. I want to buy something.
Yeah, you know, like, I think that has some merit. And also, I do feel that I know you don't take it too personally, but I do see when you like have a pre-sale or something and it doesn't go as planned, you get a little beat down, and I don't feel like you need to do that. Like, you don't need to beat yourself down.
I feel like it was icing on the cake, whatever I sell from that.
Yeah.
It's like I set my own goals of like I want to do a pre-sale and I want to do this and I want to do that just to push myself a little bit more to diversify the options that I could play with. And maybe the pre-sale's like, okay, maybe it didn't go as planned, but it gives me a toe in the water so that I could see what worked and what didn't. So the next time I try it, maybe it's a year and a half down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whenever. I'm smarter about what people want and like, knowing something has a better chance of selling.
Right, but also I do feel like, even though maybe you don't admit it, that it does kind of like get to you a little bit. And
oh, it gets to me. I'm like, if I post stuff and I don't sell as much as I hope to, I'm like, I'm bummed out about it.
And you shouldn't be, because like the amount of sales you do at shows is so significant that like you clearly have a product that people want. It just may not be on the internet that people want it. It's in person, you know? And I think that that has a lot of merit. You know, there's a lot of people that can sell at show, like can sell online, and if they go to a show, they sell like $200, you know? And you just have to like find your niche, I suppose. And I think you have found your niche, but you're like really trying to like get into another niche too. And I think that that just needs to be a natural progression.
Yeah. Maybe I just need to sell less online until people really ask me.
Exactly.
And I'm like, if you really want it,
here it is.
You know, this is what your options are.
Yeah. I mean, like...
Plus, I save myself on fees and stuff.
Exactly, and shipping.
I mean, I like shipping, so that's not a big deal for shipping small things. Like, keeping shot glasses and spoon rests online for long periods of time is cool, but like not having to do the hustle bustle of the photographs and the listing and all that stuff is
and I mean, like,
nice.
You know that the shot glasses sell, so keep those online and like be pretty... I think that maybe doing like the made to order situation might be something that works better for you rather than like an update situation. Like, I found that for me, because I'm in like the same boat, you know, like when I do an update, it's like, oh, hey, there's like 2 orders, great. And like you know, but like when I do the made to orders and I have that on the shelf and it takes me half a week to finish it, it's like, oh, hey, somebody like wanted those pieces, you know? And
yeah. But I think it's also like what I put my time into. Like I have put a lot of hours and time into making shows.
You have.
Like successful.
Yeah.
And I haven't put as much time into making Etsy listings as successful for like restocks and like marketing it, because I don't put as much effort into like planning out how I'm going to advertise and market and like email list and stuff like that to make it successful. Yeah. But if that's all I did, I would have more time and more reps.
Yeah, but you're
getting
human,
into that.
You know, you're a single human being.
So it's like,
and like Rachel and Erica can only do so much, you know?
Yeah. And I'm not like, hey, you take care of listing stuff and things are just going to sell.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit back here and keep making work. Not sit back, but I'll keep making work and then going to shows and schlepping pots. And
I think, I mean, fuck, if you can do shows, if you can get to a point where you're making $100K at shows a year, $150K at shows a year, like, why the fuck would you do anything else? I guess that's my opinion. Why the fuck would you do anything else?
Or like, you know, 80K at shows, 10K wholesale.
Yeah.
10K consignment.
Yeah, or something like that.
5K consignment.
Like
10K online.
You
or
love
like,
to do shows, so why would you not do? Why would you like focus on?
Yeah, it's getting harder. Like if I were to say, okay, well, I need time to do these other things, like making sure I keep room for Etsy restocks and stuff. Like,
fuck,
it's less of a sure thing.
Yeah, there's potters that have never sold online in their whole entire fucking life. It's
like, what shows can I cut out that are worth cutting out It's like, I know I have to do these, at least these like 7 or 8 shows that are like killing.
Yeah.
With, like killing it with sales. And it's like, hey, if I can have work for these 7 or 8 shows, I'm going to do pretty well.
For reals.
Yeah.
Okay, there's my nightly pep talk.
Do less.
Do less. I want it, like, I have a t-shirt that says care more, and I really want to make a t-shirt that says care less. Care less. 5 lines pottery. Care less. Oh, can I tell you a really funny story really quick? Okay.
Yes.
And this will end our night. So I recently had a sale. One of my friends, my good friends here in Indy, her friend in Seattle, he was like, hey, can you make me a spoon rest? Because she does pottery as well. And then she ended up just sending him my name and was like, hey, here's my friend. She's doing spoon rest right now. And then, so he ordered a spoon rest, and then he also ordered a shitty cup. So he ordered a green wine glass. And he, like, messaged her later and was like, hey, really excited. Like, I got this in the mail, and I'm so excited I got one of the cups from her, too. And she instinctively was like, oh, did you get a shitty cup or a fancy cup? And he has no idea what a shitty cup is. So he was like, I got this cup.
They're not labeled as shitty cups on your website, right?
They're labeled as, but this was before I even put them on the website. They're labeled as IDGAF cups. I don't give a fuck cups. But it was just so funny that, and I was like, we're just so used to it saying like, oh, it's a shitty cup or it's a fancy cup. And like nobody else knows our lingo.
Yeah. That's like saying a TPG mug or something. Like, that's a deep cut.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think potters could say shitty cup and like they know. If they know what's going on, like that'd be like basic. Did you get a basic pitch pot?
Basic
like
pitch pot, yeah. Good times. Okay. Anyway, we shall leave.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yo, yiggity yo. It's Becca here. Hey, just so you know, thank you for listening. And also, we have... What do we have again? A Patreon. We have a Patreon that you should go, and if you want to donate to, you could donate to it. If you don't, that's cool too. But just Google Wheel Talk Podcast Patreon. Don't do the other one, because there is a Wheel Talk on Patreon, but it's not us. So make sure you get the right one. It's in the show notes. And also, leave us a review because they're fun to read. Okay, bye!